We have a guy who sued us, by the way. We didn't talk about that. I just put my own spin on it.
Would you say your product is the best in the world?
You know how they say build a better mousetrap?
If they don't, they're fired. You didn't have the vision. You didn't think that your company is going to be doing $10+ million a year.
I figured it out.
And it wasn't even that it was handed to you, it was that you did it and it was taken from you.
Yeah.
And then you had to start again.
Do I wish that it would have gone down differently? Of course.
So if you could speak to your younger self going through everything you did, the ups and downs, the lawsuits, the wins, the losses, what would you say?
I think what I regret is that...
Vitaliy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
I just want to right off the bat clarify, I did not invent in-ear monitors. They existed.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they existed for, I'm going to say, some sources say like 20 years before I ever laid my eyes on them.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been nice if I was the father of in-ear monitors, but someone else already holds that title. I just, you know how they say build a better mousetrap?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Put my own spin on it. If you
So would you say your product is the best in the world?
You're asking a parent to describe their children. I think
I know you're biased,
amazing. That would have to be something, our customers would have to determine.
but
But I would say that we're definitely top 3 in the world in terms of who's in this space. That I know for sure, just because people tell us that all the time. In-ear monitors are basically, they come in 2 forms. One is custom fitted to your ear, which is, you get something gooped in your ear, that material hardens, they take it out, we scan it, and we make the product. So it's unique to your ear.
custom mold.
Yeah, ear holes, as they say. Custom molded. The other side of what we do is smaller side, but they're still in-ear monitors. They're still expensive and, still actually a lot of them are built to order and boutique. That's the universal fit. That's the one that you could just buy off the shelf. If you're like in Tokyo or something, you could just go to one of our dealers, buy it. It has these little rubber tips. They're kind of more generic in terms of fit, but in terms of their technology and sound, they're anything but generic. They cost anywhere from $500 up to maybe $3,700. So yeah, they're still boutique. They're still handcrafted. Lots of cool technology. It's just that we have a customer for both fits.
Yeah.
Some want the custom fit. Some will take the universal fit because they want to maybe keep them for a year and resell them, or be able to share them with friends and
Got it.
other audiophiles.
If I would call them headphones, I would.
They're not. Well, so
Not
the
just
distinction is
like-
headphones are the ones that go in your head.
Okay.
Earphones are the ones that go in your ear. So we make earphones.
They are considered earphones.
Yeah.
But the
Proper term
professionals.
is earphones.
Yeah, and the professionals call them monitors.
In-ear monitors.
In-ear monitors.
Yeah.
And what separates your company from the standard earphones you would go and buy at a Target or a Best Buy or what have you? Because you've got your own specific niche that you're working
Well,
with.
ours are custom, the bulk of what we sell. So that's a big differentiator. The second thing is the quality of sound, the amount of tech that is found in ours. Most earphones are like this. It's a little shell. It's a housing with a single driver in there. Usually a driver that costs, I'm going to say, anywhere between 25 to 50 cents. They make them look pretty, but inside there's no technology. Other than if it's true wireless, then there's DSP, digital sound processing. So they'll make them sound better through DSP, but it still doesn't, it's kind of like putting $5,000 rims on a Honda Civic. It doesn't make it go fast. It's more marketing than anything. But that's the big differentiator. Ours are meant for something specific, which either you're an audiophile and you're going to invest thousands of dollars into digital players that produce high resolution audio, or you're a musician that's on stage that needs something that's not going to fall out of your ears, that produces the full range of audio, that can get loud enough without distortion, that's discreet, it's not big and bulky. So very different products. I mean, there's a reason why we're not in Best Buy. People who go to Best Buy, they don't have those, needs.
Plus the equipment, is it?
Well, yeah. If you're on stage, for example, you need to invest another maybe $1,500 at least to get this wireless pack, which receives the wireless audio, so you can not be tethered. So it's a big investment.
Yeah.
We're talking probably $3,000 to $4,000 to get you going.
Okay.
And so did you start off as an audio engineer? Is that your background?
At about 15 or 16 years old, I got bit by the music bug. And from then on, my life was all about music. I went to school. I went to college for like one semester. It was a waste of money because I didn't do anything with it. But
no, it was just one semester. It's not 1 year.
I know, but still, maybe more of a waste of time, I should say, because it's, like we said, if you're going to do something, start it and stick with it. Well, I didn't stick with it. But my story is I get bit by the music bug. I start to do music at church. Slowly get into it more professionally, as in learn the gear, learn what all the knobs do. But music is cool because music always has a kind of a technical aspect to it, meaning like music doesn't just come out of thin air. You use equipment to make music, whether it's digital or analog. You still have to record it digitally. So they go hand in hand. And so I got really fascinated with the technical part of music. How is music made? How do you make it sound good? What does all the equipment do? And digital recording. So in the year 2000, me and my brother built this little recording studio in my parents' basement. And so we cut our teeth basically on just experimenting, just trying it. I didn't go to any school. I didn't even know the schools like that existed, to be honest with you. Plus, I couldn't afford it because I'm from a big family, 12 children. My dad's a welder, making below average salary, I would say. Supporting 12 kids on like $20 an hour, 25. I think he topped out probably at $30 an hour.
Wow.
That was probably much later than 2000.
Yeah.
Because in 2000 they were making less.
Yeah. He started at like $12 back in 93, I think, 92. Actually, probably 92, shortly after we immigrated. So I come up from not having much. And so music was a way to, I guess, for me to build my dream. I had to work to buy all my equipment. Like I wanted a keyboard. I had to go berry picking for like the whole summer. And actually one of the summers I collected enough money and my parents like, hey, Vitaliy, we need money. Like we have some expenses to pay for. That money you have sitting aside for a keyboard? We need it. So I had to give it to my parents.
How old were you when that happened?
I was probably around 17.
How did that make you feel?
17, 18. Oh, I was bummed.
Yeah.
My friend owned the keyboard and I'm like, where's my keyboard? I would always go to his house and we would like make, music, and I would always envy him. It's like, how does he get to have all the nice stuff? And I have to, I have to kind of always be behind, but God had a plan. And so now I see that those disappointments were good for me because they made me stronger. They made me more resilient, more motivated.
More hungry.
More hungry, yeah. Because if I had everything handed to me on a platter, I don't know where I would be, honestly.
And it wasn't even that it was handed to you. It was that you did it and it was taken from you.
Yeah.
And then you had to start again.
Exactly. But again, obedience is more valuable than sacrifice. I mean, it's from scripture, you know, and so I always knew that I needed to obey my parents and respect them, because biblically that's the secret to success, to having a long, successful life. I'm not saying be rich, but I'm saying successful in the sense of being blessed by the Lord. And so I tried. I mean, I wasn't always obedient, but when the rubber met the road, to me, I was like, I have to do this. My family needs me. And ever since I started making money, like I would help my dad a lot to support the family, because I'm second in order. And so my older brother...
second born?
Yeah, I'm second born. So my older brother left when he was around 18. He kind of left. He had some issues with my parents. And so I basically had to be the oldest one and lead my brothers, especially my brothers, because there's like 4 brothers after me, or 3, and then 2 sisters, and then more brothers. We have more boys than girls. But it was one of those things where I felt the weight of, you know, helping my dad.
And it came natural?
It came natural because I didn't see any other way. If I would just say like, hey, you figure it out, like, I don't know, I would feel bad about that. I don't know what it is. It's just the way God made me.
Interesting, because it's not given to everyone. I personally didn't have that. It's when I was growing up, being 17, 18, my parents didn't teach me that, hey, you need to be helping us. We're surviving, because when 2008 hit and they were on the verge of losing their house, he was struggling, but he would never ask me for money.
Really?
And
Is that a pride thing?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't even know. He was in debt. He was almost losing the house, but he was able to make it happen, you know, find that $100, $200 that were missing last minute and just make that payment. And a lot of people around us were losing houses, and he wasn't. But now, later in my life, obviously my knowledge, or I guess wisdom, kicks in, which I didn't have at 18, 20-year-old, to help him. So I stepped up. But in the beginning, like I think it's just every family is run differently, and it's something. He didn't really have a father. He was single, you know, single child in the family, lost his father when he was very little. So he just didn't have experience in teaching us, hey guys, we're one unit, we're one family, we're one hive that has to take care of each other. So
that's the thing I want to do with my kids, is just to instill in them this sense of sticking together, because that's how you make it through the tough times. You know, like
I'm teaching my kids now too.
Friends will come and go. I mean, as awesome as friends are, they just are not permanent.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you'll have a friend for a lifetime, but it's very rare. You know, people, just by their nature, they're kind of opportunistic. If it makes sense for us to be friends, we'll be friends. The moment I kind of don't need you, there's no incentive.
They're friends until they get married.
Yeah.
You know, and
like we were saying, like life changes. You know, something changes, people move away.
Yeah.
They have a different community. Blood it runs deep. It goes. It's hard, and we'll get into the little family type drama in the business, but being blood related, and I would say it's not so much the blood, it's just who you grew up with. It's who it was who was in your hive, right? There's a expression in Russian, who you ate your soup from the same bowl with. That to me is really strong, and it can work against you because, you know, those closest to you can hurt you the most. But I think the way God designed it is for it to be a huge benefit and a blessing in our lives.
Yeah. Let's get back to the story. You're
then
17.
I got a chance to work with some really talented musician. He really helped me to kind of step it up in both music and engineering. Because for a sound guy, you want to work with really good musicians, because that's your source. You know, if you have someone who doesn't know how to play guitar, even if you bought the most expensive equipment money can buy, you will not make them sound good. The source has to be really good. So for a sound engineer to work with really amazing musicians, that's the dream come true.
It's almost like a contractor working with a really crappy architect.
Yeah.
The end product just sucks.
Exactly.
You did your job, but the design, it was not well put together.
Exactly. So that led me to actually in-ear monitors, because that, with this musician, his name is Brixa, Sergey Brixa.
Oh.
Yeah. We call him our Slavic Michael W. Smith. Because he's kind of at that level, you know. A lot of people sing his songs. They don't even know they're his songs.
He's very talented.
Yeah, very
I
talented.
grew up on his songs.
Still makes good music, although he may not know how to market it properly. But anyways, working with him, I got into in-ear monitors. I remember as a band, it was me. He brought us on as a band. And by us, I mean me and my brothers, my younger brothers. I got my younger brothers into music. I would say I introduced them to music, and they liked it. And who doesn't want to be in a band, right? If you're a musician, if you have that knack. So we started working with Brixa, and we're like, how do we step up our game? So we look at the Grammys, and everybody's wearing these in-ear monitors. We're like, that's what we need. That is gonna,
Improve our level.
Improve our craft, our skills. And so we invested and bought in-ear monitors. Now, for someone who just, has a little painting business, making $40K a year, $700, $800, $900, that's a lot of money to invest into earphones. But, we did not spare money when it came to investing into equipment. My mom used to say, like, why are you guys buying all this stuff? You should be saving, and you should be saving for marriage. And we're like, Mom, you just don't understand.
What was it at that age that you wanted to buy the equipment and be attached to almost the science and the math of the music versus the instruments to make it yourself? Because I feel like there's a different aspect of music that you were tapping into.
What do you mean by instruments make yourself? What's that?
I mean, like just getting a guitar and being a musician versus you were buying equipment.
We did that.
You did that.
We did that, but
just
how do they become better?
But the thing
How
for
do they
us
elevate the game?
Look, when you come from a big family, I think one of the things that happens is you learn how to kind of provide for yourself. And what I mean by that is, so you buy a guitar, okay, but you want to record music. So what do you do next? Well, you have to figure out a way to record yourself, a way to record songs so that you could do the thing that the big artists are doing, but you're doing it on a shoestring budget. So we don't have $20,000 to go to a studio and spend a month there to record our album. We have maybe $2,000, right? So the way we do it is we buy the equipment and do the work ourselves. So that's why we got into the engineering side of it. I mean, that's why I got into it.
So you did it out of necessity. Your love was music, but you started to learn the engineering because that was a shortcut.
Out of necessity, but I also have a love for it. It's like I'm an engineer. I'm a creative person. For me, most people look at a camera and it's like, well, that's a nice camera. I want to know how it works. I want to know what its capabilities are. I want to know what resolution it records in. Like, I'm just a geek when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, the technical side of music was, to me, was just as fascinating as the music itself, So
you bought the in-ear monitor?
Yeah, so I bought them. We started using them. It was great. We were learning how to make them sound good and how to work with them. But then the set that I bought failed me. The wire broke off. So I put them away into a drawer. I get myself another set that has actually now a replaceable wire. So it was from a different company, so they sounded different. So I wasn't happy with the first set. I wasn't happy with the second set in terms of sound and how they were made and how they weren't reliable. And so then I get married in 2008, and my wife's also a singer. That's how I met her. I heard her sing. I fell in love. It was love at first sight, love at first sound.
Fell in love with her or how she sings?
With her. But the fact that she sung only just made the deal so much better.
Sealed the deal.
I mean, yeah, man, you asked me a good question. Which one did I fall in love with? I fell in love with her. But when a beautiful girl sings and you love how she sings, I mean, there's no going back.
Yeah.
It's you have to get her. And that's what I did. She first liked my brother, and then I went to my brother and said,
and you're like,
"Do you
hey,
her?"
Look at me, I'm here.
I went to my brother. I remember this moment, and I said, "Do you like her?" And he goes, "She's all right." I'm like, "She's all right?" I'm like, "Do you like her?" He goes, "I mean, she's a friend." I'm like, "Oh, I have the green light."
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like her romantically.
Right.
And so I started pursuing her, and took a little bit, but I got her.
Slavic?
She's Slavic, yeah. She was born in Ukraine. She did grow up here, so she's Slavic by birth, but she's closer to kind of American mentality. But I'm trying to pull her to my side because I'm more Slavic than American, and we make it work. We kind of balance each other out. But I get married. She needs in-ears. I don't have any money. She's working at the time. I'm doing these like little sound engineering gigs, mixing sound at the church. I made like $1,300 a month.
And when you say she needs the in-ears, does she need
to do music? Yeah,
because she's like doing things for the church, or what exactly?
No, she was doing stuff with me, Brixa, her, and we went to Ukraine twice. We did these tours. Yeah, we just wanted to do music ministry, and we needed her to have a set of custom made.
Basically, you're a singer. You're a singer. She's a singer.
Yeah, I'm more of a.
Okay.
Yeah, I sing okay, but I don't consider myself a singer.
But she's a vocalist.
She's a much better vocalist than I am. Yeah, I love how she sings. And so what do? I don't have any money. I'm like, wait, I have this broken set laying in that drawer. What if I was able to take the components out? Because I knew the speakers were good. It's just the wires were broken. What if I was able to harvest them and figure out a way to reshape them into her shape of ear, and basically for very little make her a set of in-ears? So I share this story. I'm like, 64 Audio exists because I was too cheap.
Or because you didn't have money.
I didn't have money. I could have just, if I had the money, I would have went out and got her a set and call it good.
And there would be no 64.
So that's the real story. It's not that it was too cheap. It's just I didn't have money. And so this quest of trying to figure out how to do that led me to making my own in-ears
As a hobby in the beginning.
Yeah.
You haven't thought of it as a business.
No, I didn't even know you could make a business out of it. Because before then, I had a painting business. I know how to paint houses. I know how that works. I know nothing about how in-ears are made. So literally, it took me about 1.5 years to figure out how these things are produced. I bought materials from Home Depot, silicones, thinking that they would work. They don't work. They're not the right silicones for the job. So a guy at church introduced me to a friend of his who was in the hearing aid repair business. He actually was the one that took that broken set and reshaped it into my wife's ears. And I was like, okay, I see how he did it. I'm like, I could probably figure out how to do a better job, because he didn't make them look too pretty.
Okay.
He made them work sort of, but they looked ugly. They looked like hearing aids. So I'm like, there has to be a better way. So I started picking his brain. I started looking for basically suppliers that could sell me the materials. Because if you just go in, okay, we're talking 2008, 2009. Right now, you probably could ask GPT and it'd give you a rundown on how to make a custom fitted in-ear. Back then, even Google couldn't give me the recipe. It's like, I don't even know what this stuff is called, right? So
it's fairly new technology.
It's new. Well, it was just such a closed industry. So it took a lot of emails and calling and trying to figure out how this works. But I literally had to figure it out on my own. But being mechanical and having that drive of, you know, like, I need to figure this out. I'm not going to give up. It's not that I just needed to make my wife a set. My musician friends are like, hey, can you make me one? You know, get this product. And so that actually motivated me to kind of keep going and tinker and experiment. And then, you know, months later, I had my first set. It didn't look anything like what we do today.
2009?
It was 2010.
2010
Yep.
was the first set.
Yep.
Is it accurate to say that when you have a problem in your mind that you think you can solve, but you don't know how, you're just restless and you just keep trying to chip away at it and you just keep trying to find the answer?
Yeah. Well, it's fueled by passion. You know, no one was paying me to do that.
Curiosity.
It was curiosity and it's passion. It's, I remember thinking, like, if I can make these things in my, by the way, it wasn't my basement, it was my spare bedroom that I started the business in. But if I was like, I remember thinking these thoughts that if I could make this in my spare bedroom and someone like John Mayer or someone like Adele or, you know, any of these musicians that we listen to, if they can use my product on stage, like, how awesome would that be?
You had that thought.
That was kind of my motivation. I'm
Wow.
like, I have all the equipment here in my spare bedroom to make a product for them. I didn't need huge warehouses. I didn't need a huge engineering firm. Like, I could literally do it all on my own.
Did you understand, like, all the engineering and all that at this point?
I figured it out. I brought in a laser machine that I bought from China. That was the only debt that I took on the company, was $3,500 to buy a laser machine. Everything else was self-funded. No debt.
Okay.
Zero.
Fast forward 15 years from that 2010. Where's the company now? How big is, and what type of revenue you guys are doing?
It's almost too big for me to handle.
Well, you have a good team.
I have a great team. I would not be able to do it without the people. I have to give a shout out to my brothers who were there from basically not from zero, but basically from about year one and on. They were a band. They were touring. They were trying to make it in the music business.
It's Roman,
Vlad. Yeah. Two of them are now my competitors, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, brother against brother.
Yeah. We're trying to keep it friendly, but, you know, it's still a little dicey sometimes. But they were there. For the first, I would say, 6-7 years, they were really instrumental in building the business. So, you know, you brought up the team aspect. I wouldn't be, I never say and will never say that I did it single-handedly. You know, it was definitely the foundation, the heavy stones were laid by the team of brothers, you know, and then obviously we had to part ways, but that's a story.
So where's the company now?
So now we're somewhere between 85 and 90 people.
Wow.
And, you know, I was going to tell you, I'm not a numbers guy, so I'm bad with numbers. I mean, I know some of the big numbers, but I couldn't tell.
You don't know the revenue?
I know the revenue. Let's just say we're north of 10.
North of 10.
Yeah.
A year.
A year.
Yeah. How many in your monitors you produce? Custom molded?
Yeah. We ship basically, I'm going to say around 5,500 sets a year for custom.
5,500.
Yeah. So it's around 500 and some a month.
Okay.
And then we ship probably around 2,000 units a year. That was last year. We probably ship more this year, but around 2,000 universal fit units. So maybe around total of 7,000 to 8,000.
7,000 to 8,000 units a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
For a niche type of product where it's used mostly by professionals or semi-pros.
Or audiophiles.
Yeah.
Which are professionals, but in a different right, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's 85 people. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And all the production and manufacturing is happening
In-house.
in-house.
Like
US.
90-some% of it. We are testing outside vendors for production, so we're doing it very carefully with a couple products.
How many components go into your average product?
I don't know. Hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how hard is it to source all of these components?
It's not that it's hard to source, it's just hard to manage all of it, because we don't have a one-stop shop where it's like, you know, everything comes from one vendor. Because of the kind of product it is, we're sourcing from all kinds of different industries. You know, some are not even from, I don't know, like we bought these these copper sheets from this lady that makes earrings, because we stamped them out and put them in our earphones. We like the look of them. So it's like we will buy anything that we like the look of. We don't care where it's used. Maybe it's a membrane that's used in like surgery, or you name it. It's like knife, you know, we buy stuff that scales, I think they're called, or whatever, for knife making. If it looks pretty and we can put it on a faceplate, we'll source it. So it's crazy. It's from all over the world.
Do you think the company growing so fast and it being so big, you're more passionate about it now, or do you feel like it takes away from your passion of just sitting in your test bed
As it becomes more
figuring out what's actually going on?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you how my mentality has shifted, thinking about what the purpose of the company. At first, when I was starting out, you know, the drive is like to be the best in your company, you know, to have our in-ears in all these different artists that, you know, I admire and consider, you know, important and all that. And once we reached that goal, by 2017, we had started to really corner the market. I mean, we introduced like this technology that really catapulted us. It was a pressure relief system that still to this day, except for my two brothers, nobody really uses.
Because it was patented? Or
Well, we first licensed the technology, then that relationship kind of fell apart.
Was Dell?
It was a Dell, yeah. And then we created our own version of it. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. So we created a version that didn't infringe on that technology, but does kind of the same thing. So that was Apex, which is what we used to
And
make.
it's better than a Dell.
It's more reliable. It's more controllable.
Plus it's in-house.
And Adele,
We own it. I would have to pay a licensing fee.
Your profit margin increases.
Yeah.
Because you increase the prices.
But see, to go back to the other relationship, it wasn't about profit margin for us. It was about reliability of getting the components. Like when you have a single source supplier for a component, and this supplier decides to kind of manipulate you and throttle you with component availability, I don't think any businessman wants to be in that position. So that's why we had to end that relationship. You know, it just got too complicated, and it wasn't workable for us. So we came up with our own in 2017. We patented it, and you know, it's been working great for us. So I forgot the question you asked me.
The question was about mentality and how you think about the company.
So then, you know, we sort of achieved, or I achieved what I wanted with it, right? And then I started to figure out
your wife the in-ears, mission accomplished.
Yeah. And then I started to figure out that it didn't really fulfill me, because two things happened. First of all, I'm like, okay, so we made in-ears for such and such, you know, star. Okay, what does that do for me? It didn't change anything in my life. Second of all, the success came with issues with family. It came with a bunch of difficulties of managing relationships and envy, struggle for power. All these things came with it. We started to get big heads, and I say we intentionally, putting myself in that group. We grew so fast and we got success so quickly, we kind of didn't know how to handle it. You know, We didn't go to the lengths that Justin Bieber did. You know, you guys know the story, right? Kind of him just kind
The
of
success
losing it after
quickly,
he
yeah.
became a multimillionaire almost overnight. Not to that extent.
I don't
but
know
just-
what happened.
Okay. Well, anyways, people kind of get a really big head when they become successful.
Yeah,
quickly.
when it comes fast.
When it comes fast. And we just didn't know that we should be looking 20, 30, 50 years down the road. You know, when you're young and inexperienced and you've never had $100,000 in your bank account, it kind of messes with your head. And we didn't know how to really handle it. And so we got into trouble with relationships and, like I said, struggle for power, mismanagement, misunderstanding, like who's actually in charge and who's going to steer this ship. And
Was there any agreements prior? Well,
no,
you
there
started
was
in
no written
2010.
agreements.
A year later, you employed your brothers.
Yeah. No, there's no written
No
agreements.
contracts.
No contracts.
You just come in, work for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay you this.
Yep.
So no actual right, like no equity in the company, right?
No equity.
So, okay.
Yeah.
But still, they felt like they...
But one of them said, well, I always worked like I was going to get equity, so therefore I deserve it. And I said, look, but we never talked about it, and so that was hard. And I think here's the deal with my brothers. They're all really talented. They're all capable of running companies on their own, which is what they're doing right now. Both my brother Roman, Vlad, Bogdan, they're all running companies, in the audio space.
Okay.
So they're capable. They're all
There's
talented.
3 spin-offs?
Essentially, yeah,
Wow.
if you want to call them that.
3 spin-offs?
Yeah, one is not a competitor, though. He's doing guitar pedals, which is not.
Oh, okay, but he's
Yeah.
in the musical space.
Yeah. Coincidentally, that's the one I have the best relationship with.
Mhm.
When did these spin-offs happen, if you don't mind?
So one of my brothers left in 2018, spring of 2018. The other one left in fall of 2019.
Mhm.
Those are the ones that started the companies. The others left at various times, but they didn't start any business that's that's in this space.
And from a previous conversation, you mentioned that you come from a family of 12.
Mm-hmm.
You're the second oldest. And from inception to now, you actually had 9 of your siblings work for the company. So out of 12, 10 of your parents' children work for this company that you started.
Yeah, if you include me, yeah.
If you include you. And presently, today, head count from your family is what?
2 brothers and my dad.
Okay. So Pete was 10 out of 12, and now it is 2 brothers and your dad. Let's throw your dad. Let's not include your dad because now it's just kids. So it's 3 out of 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like the way you say that, and the way I asked the question about what the current status of the company is and what it was like with the come up, that not necessarily that you're not necessarily happy with how it happened, but that there's some regrets. You may have, wished to do something differently.
Do I wish that it would have gone down differently? Of course.
Mhm.
If I had to do it over, I would do things differently.
What would you do
Absolutely.
differently?
What would you do to prevent that?
I mentioned the whole thing of when you do something, if you just look at it, what benefits you right now versus it's not even the benefit, it's what's better for 10, 20, 30 years. We're talking in the context of family, right?
Mhm.
But even people and even yourself, like looking at the long game versus looking at, well, I need to solve a problem today, and this is how I'm going to solve it because it takes care of it today. But it's going to rear its ugly head later in a year, 2, 5. That's what I would do differently, is I would have more of a looking into the future and saying like, okay, maybe I should take the beating right now, but in the long run, we'll end up with a much better result versus, come out on top right now, but in the long run, be beat up for the rest of my life. You see what I'm saying?
So let's get into specifics. So you're talking about making an agreement, a formal agreement.
Agreements should have been made.
Okay.
I'm not a good
Expectations, set
Yes, set
expectations,
expectations.
which haven't been done.
Communicate. And one musician that I saw a documentary for, he said, when they asked him, why did your band fall apart? And he said, it's because I put process in front of before people. So, or progress or process, maybe progress before people.
Okay.
And I really resonated with him because it's I think what I regret is that, again, I was just looking at what I'm doing more than who I'm doing it with,
And where you're going.
and where I'm going, and what's the next 50 years of my life going to look like with these people by my side. Because family, I can't change people out from families for life. And so that's what makes, in my opinion, working with family in a business so complicated, is because if you make a mistake, you have to live with it for the rest of your life. You can't just forget about it, block the number, move to a different state. That doesn't solve anything.
They linger, they follow you.
The consequences are for the rest of your life. So it's hard.
Has it changed the way you make decisions moving forward?
I think so. I try to, before making a decision, I try to think about it from many different angles and actually be humble enough to get counsel. I have a couple of godly men that I have counseled with when I'm like, I don't know what I should do here. Like, justice says I should do this, right? But it's like, is that the better solution? Is that what's gonna be good for the long run? And then just understanding that winning the battle doesn't mean you will win the war. And I'm not saying, you should be at war with people, but I'm saying, like, you may win right now, again, in the big picture. How does that...
What do you achieve?
What do you achieve? And how does that enrich your life? How does that benefit your life? And then as a Christian, the biggest one is, does this glorify God? This decision, is it selfish, or is it for the betterment of maybe the person that I'm, involved with? Is this good for my soul versus good for my wallet, or good for my whatever else
for
is
the company?
Selfish? Yeah, for the company. Or
it's always really hard to distinct those.
Yeah.
Is good for the people, good for your partners? Is it good for the company, for the direction, for the future of the company?
Yeah.
Or is it good for you? And finding that balance is really the key. Because, for example, how I run my businesses is I always have partners, and similar to the issues that you run into, I've been running into the same issues. Is where's that? How do you figure out the partnership, the relationship, the salaries, the equity, all that? So
I don't want to mess with it. It's too much.
But you have to. As a founder, as the CEO, as the leader of your company.
That's why in the beginning I didn't want to do any kind of equity. First of all, you can't just turn that off. You can't tell a partner, like, look, I just don't like how this is going. I'm just going to hit undo. You can't do that once you give out equity. That's it.
That's it.
I'm saying there is a way out, but it's with family and in business. I didn't want to deal with that side of it because I'm not a businessman. I'm a musician that was entrusted a business by God, and it's hard for me. It's hard.
Well, it's a really good lesson for people that are starting out right now. And in 2010, you didn't have the vision. You didn't think that your company is going to be doing $10+ million
No idea.
a year. You didn't have that, so you didn't have those proper agreements, contracts, stock options, and so on. So if a young business is watching us right now, they should think about it right now.
Absolutely.
Especially employing close friends, especially employing family. They should set boundaries, set proper expectations. What's the vision? Okay, your involvement in this company for the next 5 years. Where do you see yourself? What are you expecting? And if somebody says, well, I'm expecting to be your 50-50 partner in 5 years, like, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's important, and luckily right now there's a little bit more information. And you coming from a musician space, you didn't know how to run a startup. You didn't know.
I had zero knowledge.
Yeah. So we'll live and learn.
That's why so many mistakes. It's kind of a double-edged sword where the passion is what got us here, but that passion also was blinding me in a lot of ways, because I thought that the business could be fueled by passion alone. And
to a certain point.
Yeah, but we all know there can't just be passion. There needs to be structure. There needs to be the proper bedrock for it to sit on. And passion is the thing that gives you that idea in the middle of the night, right? And it gets you up in the morning to go in and start, tinkering and start building something. But passion isn't going to make that disgruntled employer or that unhappy manager, work better. Passion isn't going to get you there. That takes like this systematic and this, I don't want to call it corporate, but it
structure.
It takes structure, which as a musician, I hate structure.
Yeah.
Music isn't structured. It's all about emotion, right?
But building a business, in my opinion, it's like an expedition to find some treasures.
Oh, it taught me so many different things.
Yeah.
I would have never learned how to be responsible and punctual and I guess like even talking on camera, that is not something that I did before I started the company. I was super shy as a kid. Very shy. I remember one time getting up at church to like recite a poem and I fainted. It was bad.
Yeah. No, but
so, yeah.
Sometimes people want to get into business. They just don't realize how hard it is and how difficult. But going back to the example,
passion is what gets you through it.
Passion is not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah,
so think of it.
Passion it keeps you kind of hammering at it, because I want the end result. My passion is making products, right? And now I have to do the things that I call it the, what's the word? The necessary evil of running the business. Because I don't enjoy it, but I have to do it.
It's fuel.
I have to do it.
But you need equipment, you need proper structures, proper leadership expectations. Think of this from a movie. A bunch of friends decided to go and find the treasure of some pirates. And they're all fueled by passion.
Yeah.
But it's a process to find it. And imagine if they find it, and then the scene of them killing each other, because now all of a sudden they're in front of the treasure and they don't need each other.
Everybody wants it.
And everybody wants it. And they just end up killing each other and they just die in front of that treasure. So we have to be smart and seek advice from people that have done it, which now looks like you have a lot of people that advise you on certain things. And honestly, it's ultra important. You don't have to be alone. People choose to be alone. People choose to make mistakes and not listen to
them. Well, you know what it was? Vlad, it was that I did something and I was successful and your head grows. It's like, well, I know how to do this, right? Like, I'm so talented. I'm so gifted. Look at what I've done. And that was the big humbling moment when it started to crumble. That was God teaching me that you don't really know anything. I've given you this. I have put my favor on this, not so you would get a big head, but so you would learn how to use this for glorifying my name. And even though we don't market ourselves as a Christian company, but it's all over. It's all over. It's in everything that we do.
In the DNA.
The DNA is that we are to be representatives of God's kingdom through serving people. I even tell my people, I'm like, we're a customer service company that makes IEMs, because the number one thing that we can do for the customer, besides giving them an awesome product, is to show them how much we care about them and how passionate we are about what we do through our service to them.
Okay.
This is the thing about our business, is that we virtually talk to, either virtually or on the phone, talk to pretty much every single customer that orders our product.
Okay.
You know, we get to interface with them, and they get to talk to a human, not a bot, a human that takes care of them. That to me is why I'm in this business. I love that aspect of serving people in that kind of personal way.
How fast did you get to understanding and that vision?
That was kind of from day one.
From day one?
That was from day one, because again, I'm making a custom fitted product. I'm not selling the toothbrush by the truckloads. I'm making something that there's only one in the world of, you know? And these people, they will ask 50 questions before we get an order. So our customer acquisition cost is really high. And the overhead to pay for all of that is quite high. That's why people look at it. It's like, well, is there $3,000 worth of parts in here? And we're like, of course not. But it's all the support. It's the warranty. It's the, obviously the R&D. But I think people underestimate how much effort it takes to actually get an order done from A to Z. From the time they place an order online, by the time they receive it in the mail, so many people are involved in handling that order.
When did you realize that you actually had a business and it wasn't just a hobby?
That was when I got one of my first big orders from a church down in California for $3,000. It was an order for 10 IEMs, and that was the first time I actually set up a little production line where I have 10, and now I'm kind of doing the same thing to each one, and I'm moving them along.
And how did you get this order?
A friend of mine, he just talked to the church and said, "Hey, I have a friend up in Vancouver. He can make these in-ears for you guys for cheap, because by today's standards, $300 for 3-driver in-ear, you won't find that anywhere." It was at that time, I think the cheapest. So I got into the industry with aggressive pricing, dirt cheap. I have no overhead. I'm building these in my second bedroom. I'm taking all the calls, literally zero overhead,
Okay.
So I was able to get it started that way.
That was 2010.
2010. And then 2015, we double our prices, or sometimes triple for certain products.
And it was still a hobby at the time. Were you ever paid for what you've done up until that point? Was that the first money you ever made from
People would just maybe pay me for the components, not really for the work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your day job? Because you can't live off of doing stuff.
I was
for free.
doing sound at a church.
Sound at a church.
Yeah, making $1,300.
Not painter.
13. No, I kind of stopped painting by then. I was making $1,300, $1,350 a month, running sound at the church, and that was my salary.
And were you married at the time?
Yeah, my wife was making $2.5.
Wow.
So she was.
What was she doing?
Maybe 2,000. Yeah.
What was she doing?
She was. She worked at University of Portland as an assistant to the program director.
Okay.
So she was doing office work.
So super humble beginning. You're literally making these things inside your spare bedroom. You get your first order, 10 IEMs in-ear monitors, right?
Yep.
And that was the beginning.
I feel like that was the beginning of 64 audio.
What was the conversation like with your wife when you got this order and you're looking at her, she's looking at you, and you're like, there's actually some profit here?
I was so busy. I don't think I was talking to her.
Was there a profit, by the way?
There was no profit because I was still buying up a bunch of equipment and materials.
You still have to invest in the industry.
Assuming you had the equipment already.
I would have turned a little profit. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean the components to build them didn't cost $300 per order.
Okay.
You know?
And so after that, what did you do next? Did you start thinking, hey, this could actually be something, and you started trying to find?
I mean, the orders started to kind of slowly come in.
Just referrals.
Just word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
100% word of mouth. No advertising. I had no budget for advertising. In fact, I would say the first 5 years or so of the company, virtually no paid media. Just organic, purely organic.
When did you blow up?
I don't blow up. I'm not sure when we blew up.
Was it always like slow and
No, in the
steady?
beginning it was
hockey stick growth.
Yeah, it was hockey stick.
Okay.
You know, and then it tapered off, probably from, I would say, our big growth was probably from, I want to say from 2015 to 2018. I think that's where we probably grew the fastest.
From
in terms of revenue.
2015. So I'm just trying to understand the history. You're using Adele.
Yeah. In
What year is that?
2015 we licensed it.
You licensed it.
That's when
And
we
that's
doubled
when
our
you doubled the
prices.
prices because now you have
Yep.
licensing fees.
Exactly.
What was the licensing fees?
I think it was like 10%
Okay,
plus
so,
the cost of the part, which was
so it's not bad.
it wasn't horrible. No.
Okay. Were you able to afford buying that company that was making those?
Heck no.
No?
Oh, he said he had $1 billion technology. No. He valued himself at hundreds of millions of dollars.
Were you the only one using that technology?
Yes.
So how did he have $100 million?
This guy is an interesting fella.
US based?
Yeah. In Denver, Boulder, Colorado.
In Boulder.
Yeah. And the way I found him was so weird and just kind of coincidence. But it's our story. Part of our story. So one of my employees sends me, I was actually in Israel at the time, with Brixa, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We were just over there for some medical reasons. And I get this email. One of my employees says, hey, I found this random video talking about some kind of second eardrum, and these guys seem to have solved hearing loss, and he thought it was interesting, so he forwards it to me. And I open it up and I get fascinated with it. I'm like, what is this? And so I reach out, and to my surprise, they reply. And they're like, we want you to come visit us. We want to show you because I told them, what I have. And this is almost at the end of 2014. So I'm about 4 years into running the company, or building the company, I should say. And, they see that we got something going on, and it's their industry, and so they really saw opportunity.
And they're a startup.
And
they have no customers.
They're in the basement, so they started their company in the basement.
Okay, but there's no customers. There's no revenues.
No, they funded their research purely off of grants.
Okay,
I want to say like $10 million of grants.
Wow.
What institutions were funding the grants?
National Health Institute, National Science Foundation, like the guys that are interested in hearing preservation and restoring hearing and things like that.
Did you guys ever consider taking that route? Getting grant money to fund R&D?
No. I don't like taking other people's money.
Okay.
We didn't even do this PPP thing, the COVID. I was like, something in me, I don't know, maybe it's the Slavic thing in me. It's like, I don't want to take free money. I want to earn it. We were smart enough to manage it in terms of I should say this. We were able to manage it in a way that we didn't have to take the money.
Got it.
And I'm proud of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go back to the story with Adele.
With Adele, they basically we were the only ones licensing this technology. And, going back, I'm thinking like, man, we had the upper hand. We should have negotiated it to where we were protected against any kind of
manipulations.
Yeah, and against these issues that arose. But I was so hungry to get to the next level, and I was like, oh, this is what's going to get us there.
And you were putting the logo
by passion.
on your
Logic was out the
product.
window.
Yeah, your product, I saw pictures of your logo on the one earpiece
And Adele on the other.
on the
Oh, we went in hard.
Yeah, so
we
you're
took-
pretty much marketing them for free.
Yeah, we gave them so much marketing. And
Why?
Because I really believed in what they were doing.
So what did their product do when you formed this partnership? What did they do that?
Basically
couldn't
their
do yourself?
technology allowed our earphone to become better for your health, for your, it had a sound improvement, but more than that, it had a health improvement, as in it wasn't beating up your eardrum.
Yeah,
It's
instead
kind
of your eardrum taking out, it's there's device.
There's a
some-
membrane. They call it the
Membrane.
second eardrum. It's like the punching bag.
Hmm.
It was taking the beating and preserving your hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you know that like this actually worked, right?
Oh,
that it's not just
well, they tested it.
Mm.
That's why I jumped on it, is because they had the Science Foundation, they had the Institute of Health. I mean, there was millions of dollars of funding behind it, so it wasn't just someone's claim. It was peer reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
It was there were tests and clinical.
Mhm.
I don't think they had clinical trials, but they had validation.
Yeah. Well, probably the outcome, you knew that the customers would say that.
Yeah, right.
There's result.
If I was
there's
just to say it,
difference.
people would be like, yeah, you're just saying that. Where's the data? Where's the testing? They had it.
Mhm.
And even then, it was still hard to convince people.
Mm.
I still think that people bought our product not purely because of Adele. It's because of how we implemented it and just everything else that was around it, like the customer service, the technology that was the sound technology. Adele was an important piece of it, but it wasn't the.
It's
the
one of the
linchpin.
features.
It was just part of the features. Yeah.
It's one of the features that your product had.
And then came the decision to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, what
Because it got really bad. We
What
couldn't
got
ship
bad?
product. The relationship.
Mm. What about it exactly?
I would say this. The guy who licensed it to us saw that I was an easy person to manipulate and to really change my thinking, and he started meddling in our relationship between me and my brothers. He was one of those guys that wanted to control everything. He's much older. Here I am, a young buck. I was probably like 30, well, this was almost 10 years ago. So I was probably around 33, 34 years old.
Mhm.
And so he had a lot of influence over me because I kind of looked up to him. I'm just that kind of a person. I have respect for older people,
Yeah, makes sense.
and I think he saw that I wasn't very strong, that I could be manipulated, I could be convinced. He started kind of meddling in my spiritual life too.
Call.
Guys, you're making me dirty air all the dirty laundry. But just saying something like, "Oh, you aren't achieving your goals because you may have the wrong interpretation of scripture, or your relationship with your wife, like she needs to be more supportive of what you're doing."
Mm.
Stuff like that. I mean, my wife is like, "Vitaliy, what are you doing?" And I'm hiding in the closets talking to this guy because he's talking things against my wife,
Wow.
or at least suggesting that I should like put her in her place. That's what I mean. It's when it got to that
It
point,
seemed pretty toxic.
it was
Pretty much
it was wrong.
it turned into much more than business relationship.
Oh, so much more.
And he started gaining influence in your personal life.
Absolutely.
But now you have a product that they had millions of dollars to develop. How were you thinking about trying to develop this in-house?
Well, when we saw that the ship was sinking, we kicked into sixth gear.
Mm-hmm.
Was it sinking because of you?
It was sinking because the relationship was falling apart.
Mm-hmm. And you needed
I don't mean the company was sinking. I'm saying the relationship between us and this company,
the vendor.
the vendor, yeah. And so we said, like, this isn't feasible, isn't sustainable. At some point we're gonna run out of product and we're not gonna be able to ship anything. And we kicked into high gear. My engineers said, what's another way we could do this by ourselves? Obviously, there's no one else that does this, so besides them. So we developed our own. And at first they were accusing us of infringing, but we clearly showed that we weren't. They never filed a lawsuit. And
was it just like
ways.
a technical discrepancy in terms of patents showing that you did it in a different way, or what was?
Did they have a patent?
They had a patent. They had multiple patents on their technology. Yeah.
But you were able to achieve the same results.
Yeah, because they were using a membrane to do it. We're using a special foam. And if you know about patents, it's you can do the same thing, but if you do it differently, you're not infringing.
Okay. And how long did it take you to develop?
Oh, like a couple months.
So you're achieving the same results. Somebody just spent $10 million worth of government money.
Hold on a second. But they did all the research. We obviously we didn't go out and try to solve another problem. We solved the same problem.
Okay,
yeah,
you're
so
aware of the problem.
They didn't spend $10 million developing the little solution. They spent, I don't know if it was 10, maybe it was less, but it was millions. They spent that all on research to figure out, what happens when you do this? How does the ear respond to this? What do we, so yeah, we didn't need millions of dollars to come up with our solution.
And you didn't need millions of dollars to know that there is a problem and there could be a solution. Because when you saw that video, what sparked in your head is like, oh, there's a problem and there's a solution.
To me, it made sense to work with somebody who, had the solution already, because that was our first partnership. We never partnered with anybody before then or after that.
Does the company exist?
It does.
And they work with?
They actually went to one competitor after us. That failed.
Don't tell me it's your brothers.
No,
okay.
That failed. And I think they're maybe on another, but every company they work with, it doesn't work out.
Okay.
I think that's kind of ironic.
Yeah. Have you thought of licensing some of your technology to your
We thought about it.
Have you been approached with that?
I have been approached once, and those conversations didn't kind of lead anywhere. You know why? To me, it's extra work, and I'm already up to my eyeballs in work. I don't.
Yeah, it's always and partnerships are hard.
Yeah.
To make and maintain.
Yeah. One of the things I forgot to mention at the top is, maybe you picked up on it. I didn't start 6-4 Audio to make money. I started it because I just wanted to do something I'm really passionate about. So when it comes to making decisions, even today, I don't make them because it's going to make me money. I try to make them to see if it's something that first is going to make me, it's going to fulfill kind of my mission of doing something cool, something that I really enjoy, that's something I really believe in, right? So that's the first like filter. The second thing is it going to really complicate my life? Because I'm passionate about a lot of different things, but I don't try to go out and start other companies because I know that's going to that's going to overwhelm me like nothing. And then everything will fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm passionate about so many other things, like I'm passionate about videography. I'm passionate about RVs. I have this big bus. I would love to make products for RVs. And oh, my wife will tell you, she's praying that I don't start another hobby because that means that's time away from her and the kids.
Yeah.
And she's just like, you cannot start new hobbies, because she knows that a hobby will maybe turn into a business, maybe will swallow me up whole. So I got to be very careful about what I get into. But yeah, there's been a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot. There have been opportunities where I could have grown 64 bigger, but I chose not to, because I know that it's just not good for me, for me as a person. It's going to be great for the business, but not good for me as a person. I'm already.
Do you ever get the feeling that maybe you should adapt and try and grow yourself to be able to sustain that growth in the business? If you're now the bottleneck, don't you see yourself?
How can I grow myself? I can't change who I am.
Well, have you thought about putting someone else in your shoes, in your spot as a leader?
I thought about it, but where am I going to find this person that represents my values and my goals and my...
Well, you create a board of directors. You're going to be on the board, somebody else that you really, really trust on the board. And then that person is going to be, let's say, the new CEO of the company. And they follow the vision and direction of the board. If they don't, they're fired.
That sounds so complicated.
It's not. It's not. Like, it's your company, it's your vision.
Yeah.
But you can have actually somebody else.
This is, I guess, where I'm a little bit different than most people. Just, I always look at something when people tell me, because I'm in music ministry, which we'll get into in a second, because that's where I was trying to lead up to how I look at 64 Audio today. But when people tell me, Vitaliy, why don't you put on a concert here? Or why don't you do this or that? I'm like, do you guys even understand what you're saying? Like how much work it is to pull that off? Because I have to do the work. And I know you may look at me, it's like, well, Vitaliy, you have money. Why don't you hire people? Well, even with money, it's hard to find people that will pull it off the way that it needs to be because of...
Up to your standards.
Up to my standard, yeah. So that's probably why when you tell me, like, why don't you just improve yourself? Why don't you just hire a board? I'm like, dude, just find me a buyer for the company and I'll be done with it. Because the way I look at it is, unless God sends me this person that's just perfect to take it to the next level, but do it in a way that honors my values. Because as long as my face is attached to it, as my name is attached to it, I'm responsible. I can't look my customer in the eye and say, yeah, sorry, my CEO that I hired that has a board made that decision. I have nothing to do with it. Sorry they treated you bad. Sorry they decided to cut this service, that you relied on. I can't say that to them. The buck stops with me. I started this thing. I need to see it through completion. The only way I see that is exit. To say, like, I've done with it what I could. I have honored God. I've tried to honor people. I've tried to do right by everybody. I'm not perfect, but I've tried. Right? And I'm done. It's like it's time to hand it off. I'm no longer going to be responsible for it. But as long as the buck stops with me, that guy in that seat has to be perfectly aligned with who I am. And I haven't found that person.
It's not going to be easy. In most cases, it's easier to grow that person within the company than just hiring from outside that doesn't know your philosophy, your ways and your style of management and running the company, because values really, everyone has different values. Yeah.
I know we all have different styles, and I'm okay with a different style. It's just the values. It's what's important to me.
Okay.
It's why I got into this in the first place. What the most insulting, or I guess the most painful thing for me to hear from a customer? 64 audio isn't what it used to be.
Mm.
That like cuts me like a knife in the heart. I'm like, oh, that means we've lost our way. That means that we've failed them. That means that we used to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're letting something else lead us in decisions to where the customer is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the customer is like, yeah, those guys, they got too big. Their head is big.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they don't need us little guys anymore.
Is this why you don't have a consumer product, more mass-produced consumer product?
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I know it will be more money, but I'm not after more money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be successful at what I do. And I love the fact that, our customers can interface with us and can actually see who we are. When I buy an Apple product, I have no idea who made it, who designed it. I don't know these people. It's a great product, but I don't know these people. There's no connection to them whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's a product that's being used by millions of
It
people.
is.
And they're
that's
happy.
okay, and that's great. But that's just not my story.
Mm-hmm.
When you were young, younger, you're still young right now. When you started this company, did you have a vision for where you are today, or
No,
you didn't?
absolutely not. I didn't even know what a vision was. Let's just put it to you this way. It's just, like I said, it was fueled by passion and a little bit of knowledge. Passion and common sense. Let's just put it to you this way, right? Because the golden rule is what? Treat others as you wish them to treat you.
Yes.
So that's been, every time my guys come, it's like, we have this customer and they're asking for this, and they're like, the golden rule. Put yourself in their shoes. How would you want to be treated? That's how we should treat them.
Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of that was the vision, is like, just do good, do something that makes you happy, makes me happy, gives me a sense of accomplishment, satisfaction, purpose, and the rest will kind of fall into place.
Entertainment's a pretty dark, if you will, industry.
It can be very dark.
Right? But the way you speak, the way you try and uphold certain values in the company, seems like you're trying to be a light in the darkness. How do you think about 64 Audio being a light in the darkness in a very dark industry?
Well, I think it's the reason why there's such favor on 64 Audio, I think, is for that purpose exactly, is to not only have an amazing product and, have a good customer service to go with it, but it's telling people the reason why. Because if money is not our reason, then what is the reason? Well, the reason is because, I have a mission as a person to love God, or my purpose as a human being, let's just back up for a second, is to love God and love people, right? Jesus said himself, in those two commandments, you basically fulfill the whole law. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to put people above money, above success, above myself, or before myself, then I think that speaks louder than anything else. And that's where, in the beginning, like, when the team was smaller, like, we would go to great lengths because we didn't have a system to, let's say, we didn't have the proper process to be able to, do it the right way. And so when we would be running late for an order, like, we had a guy who would put orders on the back of his motorcycle and speed down Lombard Avenue to make it to the post office to the cutoff time to make good on our 3-day rush, because our process was kind of broken. Now we don't do that because our process is good. We build it in time.
Supply
so
chain is working.
Yeah, but back then we couldn't figure out what we were doing wrong, so we'd always be running late, and the guy had to literally risk his life on a motorcycle hauling these things down to FedEx so that we could ship it, so it'd be overnighted and the guy would get it when we said we would deliver. So we didn't have to do that. I'm dealing with a guy right now that I ordered a part for my car, and the way he's treating me is like trash. Like they're taking 3 or 4 times longer to deliver when they said, and he's making me feel like I'm the bad guy for reaching out and saying, hey, can you communicate? Can you tell me what's going on? And just has no idea what customer service is.
Yeah.
So when I think about, like, I would never treat my customer like that. So that's what I'm in it for. I'm in it to be the light of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I sell a product, but at the same time, I'm trying to show people that we're going to do everything we can, not for money. Yes, you gave us money, but we're going to go above and beyond and show you the love of God by serving you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just doing everything that I can.
But how do they know it's love of God? Maybe it's exceptional customer service.
We talk to them.
Mm.
We talk to them.
And you mentioned that, hey, by the way, the customer service you're experiencing right now.
Look, in a dark industry, when you come in and everybody's throwing F-bombs around and you're not, they take notice.
Mm.
And when you come in, everybody's tatted up, and not that I have against tattoos, but they're smoking marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
and they're cheating on their spouses, you know, and we come in and I don't know, but they feel it. So many times people would come up and they go, are you guys a Christian, are you guys a Christian company? I said, well, I'm a believer. I'm like, how'd you know? It's like, you could just tell. So I think even without saying a word, they can tell that we're different. And then when they actually inquire or learn about us, and they say, who's the founder? Like who's the guy that runs the company? And they tell them who I am. There's no more guessing because they can see it.
So you're using your company right now to provide for all these families and people that are working for you, which I love. You're giving them an opportunity to feed their families.
Mm-hmm.
And second, it's a platform to talk and spread the love of God.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty much took you 15 years to get to this level, right?
Yep. Yep.
You're obviously a profitable company.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't take money from outside capital. You bootstrapped all the way for the 15 years. And now you're using it, employing almost 100 people, paying salaries, and making people happy. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's the miracle of it, is that I never thought that, first of all, that I even had the capability to do that. I never thought of myself as, one that could actually pull it off. And that's why, to me, it's a humbling thing to manage and run 64 Audio, because I know that it's a gift that's been given to me to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Although I work hard. I'm always working. As you're a business owner. You're always working. You're always looking for ways to improve what you're doing and improve yourself. Like you said, why don't you just improve yourself and, blow up the company? Well, each person has a limit, and I know where my limit is at. There's a Russian saying, you can't jump higher than yourself. Себя не перепрыгнешь.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes, you can continue to develop yourself, but we're all built differently. You can handle the stress that I can't. As a musician, as a sensitive person, I have a very sensitive personality. I'm very sensitive to emotions, to, different things that happen in my life. I can't run 4 companies.
Yeah, but Vitaliy,
I can barely run one.
It's not about the limit of your capabilities and your capacity. I 100% agree that you shouldn't be running 4 companies. You focus on one. You have one bucket that's filled with passion and desire to improve, but the load that you're talking about, you don't have to carry on your own. That's why you
And
have
I'm
the team.
slowly learning that.
Yeah, trust, delegation. Yes, it comes. It's not easy, but it's your choice to carry the load on your own. But if you can start delegating
I
and
told you the
trusting,
buck stops with me, so it is a choice.
yeah. So it is. It is. It is
My
your
wife
choice.
always says, like, I'm like, oh, it's so hard. I'm so overwhelmed. She goes, yeah, just don't forget you did this to yourself. Like, you are choosing this.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm like, dang it, she's right.
So going back to the exit, you said you would entertain an exit.
Yeah.
Have you been approached by anyone yet?
I get 5 to 10 emails a day.
Really?
Those guys who want to help you
The brokers?
acquisition kind of.
The brokers?
Probably brokers. I just delete them. I don't even read them.
No, have you been approached by someone legit or that close to
I have
an
been
LOI?
approached by a family member. I've been approached by actually one of my employees, one of my executives. Has approached me, not like in a serious way, but has brought up the topic.
Like, let's talk about this.
Yeah, like if you ever want to exit, like talk to me and, kind of like what's the number you'd put on it and things like that. So I have, yeah.
What would be the number that you would take today?
I don't know.
Maybe I can make
pay off my debts. Wait, I don't have anything.
Get your checkbook.
Yeah, it's hard to put a number on it, but I'm sure.
Okay, what do you think you value the company? Maybe it doesn't worth as much, but what do you think the value of the company is?
I would say, if I could get like 15 for it, that would be amazing. I don't know if it's valued that, but maybe someday it will be. But at the end of the day, I think it would be more important to me who it's going to and what the legacy of it will be.
All right, so Vitaliy, what is Double Joy?
Double Joy Music is something I started back in 2021, but essentially it's a production center, or another way to look at it is it's a community and a music platform for cultivating artists, for recording songs, writing songs, anything to do with music production. We have a recording studio. We have a rehearsal space. But the goal is just to get back to my first love, which is music, and to really serve people and kind of let out my, have a creative outlet that's not business related. It's ministry. It's a music
it's
ministry.
a nonprofit?
It's not registered as a nonprofit, but the way we kind of operate it is kind of like a nonprofit.
Got it.
We're not turning any profit yet. And I don't know how soon we can do that, because it's hard. Lots of expenses, but we can't figure out how to make money with it.
Well, how do you make money with it?
There are a couple ways. I mean,
Concerts?
You can do concerts, yeah, which currently still don't net positive. But there's licensing, so music licensing. There's I have this there's master classes and seminars that we could do that also can generate revenue. So there's a lot of different
consulting type of
consulting, like equipment consultation. I mean, like for churches and things like that. Like I could run a rental side of it to where we rent the gear that we have. None of them are going to bring in millions of dollars. They're all going to maybe help a little bit, but there's no one big one that's going to, bring in some serious revenue.
So if you would sell the company, you would just go full-time into Double J Music?
I think so,
you would focus on that?
I would. Because I enjoy that so much. That's my passion, is music creation, music
Is
production.
there a YouTube channel?
There is, yeah.
Yeah? I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of videos there. but that's, when I realized that 64 wasn't the destination, 64 audio was basically a vehicle for me to do what I really love, which I love building products at 64 audio. I love designing them. I don't actually build them myself, but I'm saying I love building the company by designing products and, solving problems and making something that's exciting for our customers. But my love for music trumps that, because that's where it all started, but when I was 15, 16, it's just that bug got in me really deep. And whenever I do music, I'm reminded of how much I enjoy it. So that's what I do.
So if you could speak to your younger self going through everything you did with business, the ups and downs, the lawsuits, the wins, the losses, what would you say to your younger self right after you just got that $3,000 order from that church in California?
Don't spend it in one place. I would just say that, Vitaliy, think about the big picture. Think about the long run. What should you be focusing on? Who should you be bringing on board to help you achieve your goal, achieve the dream? Because in many ways, it's a huge blessing, how 64 Audio has grown. It alleviated any financial, problems that I had, but it also brought a lot of complexity into my life. And, I think maybe I should have acknowledged earlier my capabilities, how I am wired as a person, right? And how you were saying, maybe bring somebody on to manage the bigger things that I don't enjoy doing, and I'm not even equipped for them. I think that's probably what exactly. Whether it would have been successful, nobody knows, right? Whether the other route would have given me what I wanted, but I think at least it would have been a wise thing to do.
Now let's fast forward 15 years. Let's just imagine your future self is speaking to you now, and he's telling you what you need to hear in this moment. What do you need to hear, Vitaliy?
I think what I need to hear is be content. Don't look at other people and measure yourself up to them. Just be content with where you're at. That doesn't mean don't grow, but just saying don't covet, don't compare, don't envy, and actually slow down and spend time with your family. That's what I would tell myself.
That's good.
Yeah. My wife's going to really like that.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4 kids.
4 kids?
Under the age of 11. Or 11 and younger.
Well, I have 4 kids as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Girls, boys?
I have 3 girls and a boy.
I have the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, David has 2.
I got 2 boys.
Yeah.
Just easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Sometimes 2 are worse than 4.
So Vitaliy, I mean, that's a very interesting story. So you definitely learned a lot. And if I'm gonna have somebody coming to me asking an advice on running business with family involved, I'm gonna just send them to you because you've got it. You've got it all.
But I'm not a good example though.
Well, but you've learned a lot.
I've learned a lot.
You've learned a lot, and so
I'll
you're
tell them
100.
What to do.
What not to do. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I learned through this whole journey. Is my ego is way bigger than I thought, than I thought it was. And I would say that this whole journey unearthed in me things about myself that I didn't even know were there. In that way, I'm grateful to God for exposing these things in me, because I was really good at covering them up, bottling them up, kind of being, I'm a good person. I never did anything bad, but the conflicts really, I guess, like I said, just really exposed some of these character flaws that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to deal with them. They were out in the open. I couldn't hide them. Right?
Yeah.
So that I consider that a blessing too.
So Vitaliy, for me, the highlights of why 64 audio is special. Obviously, you have amazing product. Your customer service is beyond, as I understand, it's better than Apple's, right?
Much
better. And then you're selling a high ticket premium item to customers, and obviously your packaging is amazing. Can we actually see some of your products?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the packaging, when I just started the company, I didn't even think that packaging made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only, I would say, in the last 5 years that we really started to improve our packaging and kind of work on our company presentation. And because people would be like, you have a good product, but people are buying this product because of how it looks. And I'm like, I didn't even know people thought like that. To me, I don't care what the packaging is. I want the
It's the first impression.
I know.
It's
but
like,
see, I'm different. I'm an engineer. I'm
Yeah.
not the typical person.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And so when my guys started to help us develop better packaging, I saw how the company started to grow, like how the perception of our company started to really improve.
Yeah, because it's ultra premium.
Yeah, and now we had, for example, like Astel and Kern, which is a really premium player in the personal audio space.
Mm-hmm.
They reached out to us for a collaboration. We're doing a collaboration product with them right now.
Mm.
I mean, I could only dream of that like 5-10 years ago, because we just didn't have the presentation.
Right.
Now they're like, hey, you guys look really premium. Why don't we collaborate and make a product together? So yeah, this is the packaging. I mean, you can this one here. I'll move this stuff out of the way. This box here is kind of one of our latest products, where this is one of the most affordable products we make.
How much is that product?
It's $350. Not the Aspire 4. We have an Aspire 1. There's 4 products in this series, but the Aspire 1 retails for $350, which is
That's not
cheap
bad.
for us. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that would a consumer would use it.
Oh yeah, easily.
So
Yeah.
I can plug it into my iPhone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't have a jack, 3.5 mil.
Yeah. You'll have to get a converter,
Convert.
or there's an adapter that can make them wireless.
Okay, and that's interesting.
Yeah, it goes behind the ear, and that's sold separately. But this was geared at kind of the emerging musicians. There's the reason why we call that Aspire, for the aspiring, musicians and creatives, and
It's a good name.
yeah. And so this is doing pretty good for us. We're already selling, like, I think 2,000 units. They said
A year?
something like that. Yeah, just of this product alone. Which in the other stuff we sell like 2,000 combined.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to do really well.
And how old is this product?
Oh, we just launched it probably in, I want to say March or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about,
So
less-
you're
about half a
expecting it
year.
to sell over 5,000 for
Yeah.
the year, for this 2025?
probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We should do pretty well.
Do you sell on Amazon?
No, we don't sell on Amazon.
Why not?
I don't have a good answer for you. I think it's just because maybe going Amazon may like make the brand perceived not as premium. I don't know.
It cheapens the brand.
It cheapens the brand maybe.
Yeah.
And
Well,
why,
plus 30%.
what's the point of going Amazon? We offer free shipping. We ship literally next day.
Mhm.
We have 2-day free shipping, and we can fulfill it in the U.S.
So
and you'll have it in 2 days.
your website is
So what's the
on
point for it?
Shopify?
It runs on Shopify, yeah. So what's the point of Amazon? Why should we share margin with them when we can sell it direct?
Yeah. Makes sense.
What about all the other boxes? So that's one product.
The other boxes, this is a fairly recent product too. This one's around $1,700 retail.
Mm.
So I personally really like this design that the guys came
It
up
looks
with.
really good.
Yeah. So this is a planar type technology, so it's a single driver. Mostly sold in Asia. Japan, some in Europe, but this is a good product.
Why not in US?
There's just not as big of a audiophile market in the US.
What is audiophile?
Audiophile is people who will buy expensive gear just to listen to music.
Oh.
Yeah. So music enthusiasts, but on the like really technical, geek out on specs kind of a customer. Yeah. And then this product here, we've been selling this product since like 2016, but then about 6 months ago, I want to say, also we did a refresh of it because it was looking old. It was looking like 2016. So we kept all the component, the technology remained the same, but we just give it a design refresh, and that really kind of kick-started, I would say it reinvigorated sales for it, because now, it looks modern. But this is 12 drivers per ear, sells for $2,000.
Wow.
So also very big in Asia and Europe. And
so inside there's like a box.
Well, yeah, 12 drivers.
No, I mean inside of this
inside
box.
Here? Yeah, there's this, and then this guy opens up, and we don't have product in here, but the earphones would sit in here and all the accessories.
And it has a box that you would carry with yourself.
Yeah, and it has a personal message from me too. Look at that.
Wow.
It explains why we do what we do.
So describe the listening experience for the user using this versus like AirPods from Apple. How big of a jump is it? What are you going to notice?
It depends which product you're listening to, but I would say this actually is another really cool product from us that
wireless?
It's not wireless. It can be wireless with that adapter that I mentioned, but this one has, I believe, 10 drivers per ear. So, for example, like this is a nice little breakdown of what goes into it. All those drivers and these sound manifolds and all the different components. So, yeah, I would say the listening experience is this. Most people say that they are discovering new details in music that they didn't even know existed in there.
In specific songs.
Right? Yeah, they sort of rediscover music. And actually one of our mission statements is to, I don't remember it perfectly, but it's something along the lines of to lead people to basically rediscover a connection with music. Because this happens to me a lot, listening to an album that I listened to back in the day, and then listening on our earphones, I'm like, oh, they have crackling on this vocal, or this guitar is like, recorded a certain way, and you can't really hear that on like a stereo system. Now, AirPods are pretty good, right? But they still lack kind of the depth and the micro detail that we're producing with these products, because we're dedicating certain speakers to certain frequencies. So it's kind of like, you wouldn't use a Lamborghini to tow a 20-foot trailer, right? Because it's built for speed, not for torque. But you wouldn't race with your Dodge Ram, unless you souped it up. So it's like different drivers do different frequencies efficiently. And so we divvy them up and we kind of get the best out of each set of drivers. And when you put them together, it's like a really balanced meal. You have your potatoes, your meat, your garnishes or whatever.
Instead of a patty.
Instead of just something that's just bland.
So the $350 product Aspire is much better than the earpod, the Apple.
Than Apple? I'm gonna say it's somewhere on par with it, but where it's better is obviously it's made for musicians. You can't wear AirPods on stage. The wireless connectivity doesn't work. So we still built the Aspire for musicians, but it is a lot more consumer friendly because you can get this adapter and they sound great. I'll tell you one thing, they have much deeper lows than the AirPods. It's just, again, I'm not trying to say that our earphones solve all the issues, but we build them for a specific purpose, and we like test them, and we, design them to withstand, the abuse that they're going to take from musicians. And, we have a customer in mind when we design them and build them. So I think we do a really good job of catering to our customer, which is primarily musicians and audiophiles.
Mm-hmm. How do you beat your competitors? More R&D?
I would say we never stop improving. We beat them by thinking about what really will benefit the customer. So we have a guy who sued us, by the way. We didn't talk about that, but we were in a lawsuit for 5 years. So this guy came up with a technology that he felt was solving some issue. And we looked at it and said it actually creates more problems for the person because it negatively impacts sound. So we said, okay, how do we kind of counter that? How do we truly solve this problem? And so we came up with our own way. He took a driver and put a long tube on it. We took a driver that had a short tube on it and cut the tube off, right? So we're completely kind of thinking a different direction. I guess one of the things is I'm never content with kind of like, oh, this is it, guys. We've arrived.
Evolving.
I'm always thinking like we can do better. We can do better. Like what we're doing is great, but we can do better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think makes us stand out, is that never like satisfied, always searching for the next pinnacle of, what we can offer to our customers. And then we just have people who are passionate about what they do. They don't rely on accolades. They don't, have a big name that's like, oh, I'm so-and-so, so my products must be really good. I used to tour with Lady Gaga, so therefore I'm credible. Like, we have none of that. I didn't tour with anybody. My only claim to fame is like I worked with Brixa and, I worked with my brother, Sons of Day, but I didn't work in any of those big artists. And so
but they still use your product.
They use my product. I'm saying I didn't work in that industry as their sound engineer.
Got it.
So I don't use that as a marketing tactic.
Like a bragging right.
Yeah. My bragging right is just try my product. I think it's really good. And when they try it, a lot of times they're like, oh, we always thought that guy with the tattoos and the big, names behind him, he worked with
flash of branding.
Yeah. We always thought that they were the best ones. We're like, well, I guess maybe being a kind of a shy guy, I always didn't like it when we would like talk ourselves up. I'm always kind of like, just be more humble, kind of be more,
under the radar.
Yeah, just kind of be more authentic, not try to, puff it up. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. So pretty much your business led you to become a better version of yourself 15 years later.
I think so.
For a lot of people, it's the opposite. It's the fame and the money that they made in business that is successful turns them into a little bit worse. And unfortunately, I've met a lot of people, even in this area, that made a little bit of money, and all of a sudden their ego is bigger than their whole body and their business. So it's great. It's a great story.
Well, yeah.
Vitaliy, thank you so much for sharing and being open, sharing all the little details. But
I would, just encourage people who are starting something is don't chase after the money. Don't even chase after fame. Don't even chase after the thing that you think it'll give you.
And don't set money as the end goal, because if you do, you'll be disappointed.
Absolutely. Don't compare yourself to others. I'm still learning that, even what I've achieved, it's so easy to compare yourself and say, I must be doing something wrong. Or, well, how, what do I need to do to be at that level? You don't need to be at that level.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that's not what's going to fulfill you.
Mm-hmm.
You may be at that level someday if that's where God takes you. But being faithful and diligent and just, following the original mission or those things that are deeply rooted, that, like, what do you want to be remembered by? What kind of an imprint do you want to leave to your family, society, your community? Those are the things that you should follow, not the quick buck or quick rise to fame or anything else is just not worth it. It's going to lead to disappointment. So that's my encouragement. Just take it slow, just be content and just work on it every single day. Work on it. Do something to get you closer or to better yourself, as you said.
Yeah. I think that what's really cool about your story is everything is passion led. And most entrepreneurs I know, it's not the case. They all say, yeah, passion this, passion that. It's not true. They do it for the money. They do it for the status. They do it for the game. And as soon as, like, for the first time I met you, I could tell, like, you're different. You're very passion driven, and you probably don't make as much money because of it.
Yeah.
But I think your product speaks for itself, and I think that in a weird way, that was the thing that propelled you to the success that you have. If it was profit driven, you probably wouldn't have made it. You probably would have made your product in Shenzhen, China.
I actually think if it would be profit driven, his company would be worth probably way, way more money, and he would be making way more money, and he might have been a different Vitaliy that we know today.
You think so?
It's highly possible, yeah.
Very highly possible, because I look at massive companies at their profit margins. They're incredible. They're huge. Look at Apple and their profit margins. They're massive. So he's not chasing those profit margins. So at the end, consumer wins more than he does. And that's why his brand is so good, is because he could be squeezing more. He could be figuring out ways to increase the production and cut corners, still produce a good product. It's not going to be made by 85 people in Vancouver. It will likely be made somewhere, as we said, in China, overseas. But you're just a different person. Not a typical business person.
I'll tell you, I used to think I'm better than other people, but now I don't. I'm just different. I have a different mission. I have a different, I would say, purpose, and that doesn't make me better. It's just different. It's just how God wired me. It's how he made me. And I have a different calling, is what I was trying to say. And that's why I shouldn't compare myself to others, because it's never going to end well if I try to compare what, the purpose that God has for me to somebody else. It'll derail the whole thing. Not good. So I'm still learning, but I have made a decision that I will be content and I will be faithful in what I'm given, instead of trying to chase after something that may never be mine.
That's awesome. Well, next time you guys have a company event or some sort of party, if you invite me, I'll be very grateful. Just want to feel the energy, just want to see the people.
Yeah.
Because our companies are fairly small too. For example, Snap Supplements, it's roughly 40, 45 people. And it's a very family style atmosphere where people, eat lunch together.
Yeah.
We still cater lunches at Snap. So we spend time together eating, talking, going hiking, working out. We have a gym at Snap. So I totally understand, and I really share the same vision for taking care of your employees, taking care of your people, of your team, same as you. So we totally align on that. And I think it's a blessing that we, as company owners, entrepreneurs, we can provide in that for our employees.
A lot of people may look at it and say, oh, they have a different picture of maybe on the outside how 64 came up, but the inside story is very different. And so I think maybe if they knew more of the inside story, they'd go like, okay, so if things aren't as rosy as we saw them. There was blood, sweat, tears, and pain, but yet through all of that, there is kind of the Skittles at the end of the rainbow. There is a blessing if you learn the lessons, if you allow God to teach you and break you to rebuild you back into what He wants you to be. That's the success story. It's not the business. That's a byproduct.
No, it's not just the story of the company. It's also your story.
Exactly.
And how you've been developed.
Exactly.
How you formed. So
He just uses the business to do that work.
Yeah.
But that work needs to be done one way or another. So, yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yeah. Thank you.
Guys, we just finished up interviewing Vitaliy with 64 Audio, and it was an awesome conversation. Vitaliy, thank you so much for coming on the show. If you got value out of today's conversation, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.